starting off with the red velvet, with the vanilla. So I already mixed my butter, sugar, and egg, adding in my flavor now.
I my own is still just one.
I only do two remaining.
Look that one.
If I go market, no record.
Yeah, we must me and me myself.
Oh, yeah, no, I'll check. I just like often. So we're baking we're starting off with vanilla cake. So what I mixed here was butter, sugar, and egg. I just added my flavor. So these are the dry ingredients. So this will be going into this, and we'll be folding it. So you want to ensure you add it in batches. You don't want to when it comes to baking, there's one thing I always tell my students is that you don't have to be a baker to know how to bake. You don't even have to have an oven to know how to bake. You can be a stay-at-home mom or a student and you would know how to bake. All you need is just the right recipe, that's all. When it comes to cake making, all you need is the right recipe. Even if you're a baker and you have the wrong recipe, like you're baking with the wrong recipe, you will find out that your cake might not be as soft or fluffy or moist as other bakers' cakes are. So you have to ensure that you are working with the right recipe. So the trick about having a soft and fluffy cake is in your mixture. For vanilla cake now, you know, this is a butter-based vanilla cake. When you are creaming in your butter and your sugar, you have to ensure that the butter and the sugar cream for a long time. Let's say you are working with 500 grams of butter. You have to ensure that your butter and your sugar cream for at least 30 minutes if you are using a cake mixer. 30 or 35 minutes. So at that stage, there's nothing like you over mixed your batter. That point there's no way you can over mix. You understand? When you start over mixing your cake batter is when you start adding in your eggs and other ingredients. But if you are just creaming your butter and your sugar, be rest assured that the longer it creams, one, the more volume you have, two, the more soft and fluffy your cake will be. So you can ask question if you have anything, maybe any complication, maybe why you bake. And I found out that a lot of people still face this issue of their cake going bad, like easily. Many people don't know how to preserve their cake, and that is a big problem, because if you don't know how to preserve your cake, you might not even have confidence in your cake. Imagine me, okay, you can see how this is looking. So this is is how your butter paste for your vanilla should look like. So when it comes to preserving your cake, so set it aside. I will go ahead and baking the chocolate cake now. So when it comes to your cakes now, preserving your cake might be a little bit trickish if you don't know how to go about it. Like there are different ways you can preserve your cake. You can preserve your cake by adding in artificial preservative, or you can preserve your cake simply by using salt. You can use salt to preserve your cake. You can use what's it called? Vinegar can actually preserve your cake. Yes. When I talk about preservation, I mean how to extend the lifespan of a cake. So basically, it's just that many people don't know this ideology, but there are some cake that their lifespan normally is not more than 3 days. So because let's say the baker already noticed that this cake lifespan is 3 days, so they don't want a situation whereby their customers have no idea that they have to preserve the cake. The customer went ahead keeping the cake, like maybe not using the cake almost immediately. The customer used the cake about 4 days later. Then the customer is complaining that this cake has gotten bad. And you now, in your own defense, you'll be like, but you told me your birthday party was yesterday. Why did you eat it after 2 days? Maybe something happened and the customer is telling you that I could not use the birthday cake. I'll be using it let's say in few days time, not that exact date, but you now you've delivered the cake. What will you do? You'll be so scared because you know that my cake doesn't last more than 3 days, so it will get spoiled. So it will be a very, very bad thing for your brand. Imagine if it's a first time customer that don't have any experience with you yet. They'll start saying you are not professional, your cake is this, your cake is that. And I'm sure nobody actually wants that. Like nobody wants a situation whereby the customers will be you dragging your business page, dragging that you don't know how to work. And you yourself, you will not even be confident in yourself. You'll be so scared that this cake should not go bad though. This cake should not go bad though. This customer should not complain. You'll be scared. But what are the ways to avoid situations like that? There are so many ways. Number one, I would use myself as an example. I've been baking for close to 5 years now, and how to preserve my cake was an issue when I started baking. Like basically I could bake my cakes and it will go back, but how I want to preserve this cake because it has actually gotten bad. Then I would always be sad because I'll be incurring a loss. Because how will I bake a cake today and the next 2 days is going bad? Like it actually makes no sense to me. I tried using preservative like sorbic acid, citric acids, those preservative you can get from the market. I tried using them, but the disadvantage of those preservatives is that it's actually going to preserve your cakes, but at the expense of the soft and moistness of your cake. So basically what I'm trying to say, it's going to preserve your cake but just know that your cake might go hard, like very hard, that when people even try to eat it, they'll be this person even using this cake, it will actually be very, very hard. That I won't lie to you. So back then I was using it, then a customer told me that this your cake is too hard though. And I'm like, add that sorbic acid or all those citric acid and stuff. My cake is actually very, very moist and soft. But because of it go bad easily, I started looking for an option. That was when I did research and I did a lot of homework on my own self. The homework I did for myself was trying to get to the root of the problem. I noticed then that when if I bake all my cakes, my red velvet, vanilla, chocolate, and everything, the vanilla is always going bad first before the red. I now realize that in chocolate, your cocoa powder also serves as a preservative. You see that the lifespan of a cake, in a lifespan of a cake, the chocolate actually lasts more because of the presence of cocoa powder. Then for red velvet, the vinegar you add to it, like your buttermilk, you're making your buttermilk, you add vinegar. The presence of vinegar, there's every tendency that vinegar is also protecting your red velvet cake, preventing it from going bad easily. So all this was happening and I was not actually satisfied. Then I told myself that okay, this is what I will do. Firstly, I stopped as the lifespan actually increased. From 2 days, 3 days that the tin normal vanilla cake, I'll be so confident that it's not go bad. Week, it will not actually go bad. Then there was a trick I discovered. Whenever I place my cake in the fridge, it tends to stay for a like it was funny, but I think that actually helped me. If I place my cake now in the freezer actually, anytime I bring it out, I will find out that the cake is now very, very moist. It's now really soft and in your mouth, and I won't have difficulties in frosting them. Like basically, I will just frost them so effortlessly. Change my baking game. Like it is before, customers will be like, this cake, if I buy from this, like I don't think this year. But when I started putting it in the fridge, I found that they were always coming back. Like okay, and back then, I didn't actually change my recipe, but I did something else. Something I was not doing that I started doing on my own. Like I just thought about it. I said again, it really changed my baking game. I could see that wow, cakes that I normally do for like um same set of people, and they always complain that the cake is not moist. Then not only that, the putting my cake, sometimes when I bake and I'm not going to use that cake for like let's say for 3 days coming, and maybe I just want to bake, like when you bake in bulk, it actually saves cost, it actually saves time, it actually saves a lot of things. Like you baking like everything together, like you baked a lot of cakes batch by batch. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but it actually saves the cost of electricity, the cost of your gas, the cost of so I'm actually, except you're not into the business. So when I have a cake laid out for like a week, I just choose a particular day that will not be too far from the date the customers actually want them. I just bake all of them and I do what? And I would just put everything in the fridge. So I now noticed that me putting my cakes in the fridge increased the lifespan of my cake. Like basically, if it's before, I might be struggling with my cake getting to 2 days, 3 days, but now my cake can get up to 2 weeks. customers that please, whenever you order cake from us, if you're not going to consume immediately, please put it in the fridge. Some of them say okay, some of them would. I even went as writing it as a mini note, so that should in case they forget, when they are seeing the note, they'll remember that okay. But you know how customers can be. Some of them said they will, some of them said they will, but they actually didn't. And I know I actually cleared my own conscience, because back then I used to feel very guilty that how will you order a cake and to go back within days? Like, it actually made no sense to me. Then I started working on it. Then I discovered that when I started putting my cake in the fridge, it could stay for 2 weeks. And anytime I bring it out, it's always really, really moist. So that was when I discovered the trick that putting your cake in the fridge stops the cake from reading. Let's say if the duration of that cake was supposed to be for 2 days, me putting it in the fridge is going to stop it from reading, basically making it very, 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 very moist. Not only that, but I could go ahead to have the confidence to let my customers know that this cake is going to last. So I started doing that, and my cake improved a lot. I had new customers. My customers kept on coming. Everybody just wanted to have the taste of my cake. So, but I won't lie to you. That's why when I started, I said getting the right recipe is important. Also, knowing the right procedure is also important. So when it comes to baking of cakes now, nobody should deceive you. The thing is, with the right recipe, you can actually do a lot. When you have the right recipe, you can actually do a lot. But it doesn't just end with the right recipe. You also need to know how to work with the tip around the particular cake you're making. So we're actually making chocolate cake. And when I started off with my flour. My flour was about 380 grams. Then I used baking powder and baking soda. So that's more, those two are like more like a rising agent that allows your cakes to rise when you put it in the oven, not getting same level of butter you added. So like I said initially when we started also that we're baking 3 flavors. We already did our vanilla and we're setting it aside. And this is the chocolate. So for your chocolate, hot water, is it really important? Yes, hot water is very, very important. So this is a 1 bowl chocolate cake recipe. 1 bowl. When I say 1 bowl, I mean everything goes in. Starting from your dry ingredients to your wet ingredients. So the thing is, some people now they'll be like, okay, so because I said it is 1 bowl, doesn't mean there isn't an order. There is an order in the sense that you cannot just start with any ingredients you choose to start. So because I said it's 1 bowl, it doesn't mean you have to start with your egg first, then your flour, then your no. How it works, especially for 1 bowl recipe, is that you have to start with your dry ingredients. Like the recipe I posted with using our blender to achieve our chocolate cake. I said something, but that is the opposite of what I'm saying now. That one wet ingredients because you are using the blender. You know, blender starts from the down to the top. But this particular one here, you have to start with the dry ingredients. So what are your dry ingredients? Your dry ingredients are things like your flour, baking powder, cocoa powder. What are now your wet ingredients? Your wet ingredients might be your vegetable oil, melted butter, water. Those things that when you feel it, you know it's wet, like it's not dry, like in a powder form. So you have to first of all start with your dry ingredients. Then you walk through added. I don't know if you can see, but we've added um we're almost done with this. It's just for us now to add in our what's it called, hot water. Like I said, hot water is very very paramount. Like it's very very important. You actually need it, and you also need to sieve. You also need to sieve when you're working with your chocolate cake. So some people might, at the end of my mixing, I'm still going to sieve this out. Okay, so the power is, so I'm actually going to use God's electricity. I hope you guys can actually see me. So we'll just work like this. And my goal is to ensure that I'm done. So this is my hot water. I need about 2 cups of it inside. So we'll just be adding half of the 1 cup. And you just stay, please. Just walk with me. So we'll just be going with the hand mix. And you just stay, that's all. Not too much. Nothing much, nothing less. Please pardon the absence of electricity and you know, I just slide down the glass. So you might be hearing some external noises, but please try to listen. You can ask questions. If you need the recipe, you can also write down in the comments so that I would know. I don't know if you guys can write. Please, if you so if you have any question type it there and I will attend to you. So you see that it's actually very very easy. Leave it out and that's it. So just sieve out your batter. We sieving it out is because we want to get rid of any lumps at all. Trust me, this cake recipe is my bestseller. I won't lie to you. It'll actually be my bestseller. Like I said, if you need the recipe, let me know. Let's give it to you for free. You've not been adding it. Please try adding it now. Like try adding it to your chocolate cake. It enhances the cocoa powder. It enhances the cocoa powder. So you actually need it. I won't lie to you. So this is supposed to produce two size 7 and one size 6. Let's see how we can do with that. So let's clear off this. We're taking this to wash for now. The red velvet. I would like to put the chocolate in the oven because you don't want, like this. Now we've activated the rising agents. Ensure that it gets into the oven before the mixture goes cold. The hot water we added in it is to enhance it. So we want to ensure that, I don't know why this is looking blurry. Okay, so we have to ensure that, I think it's better now. I want to ensure this is, so you can comment where you're watching this live from, the country, the state you're watching this live from. I'm currently in Nigeria, Lagos State to be precise. So you can comment the state you're watching this live from. So this is our vanilla, like I said. So baked chocolate and vanilla. So to clean, as you're walking, you clean. You're walking, you clean. So you have to ensure that they are clean. So this is size 6 pan. I'm using this pan for only good. So we'll be baking the vanilla in a size 6. Also we'll be doing like a marble for the size 7. So that it could stay while we're baking it. About not red velvet. What's it called? 2 vanilla and 1 chocolate. So that's baking. So like I said, we'll be putting this into. So for my chocolate, I have to ensure the base. So I'll be taking this off so that I could make it. So I'm cutting out the base. You don't want story that touches the heart. And I mean story that touches the heart. Your cake not coming up. That's the worst thing. Your parchment paper on your cakes. You will not even know how to cry because nothing can, especially when it's oil-based cake, nothing can make that cake come outside. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Like you will just start thinking on how to start baking afresh. That's what you be thinking. How do you start baking from the beginning again? That's what's going to be on your day. So you just want to ensure that even if you don't have a clean cutting of the parchment paper. I think some people sell already like made, already cut out parchments. Like you don't need to stress. They already cut it out. So like I said, I need four of these bottle please. So it will be left with I think remaining so just have to, don't worry, we are not going to raise this edge soon. That's what we're going to use to run the carrot. Just praying they restore the power, but for now, just have to work. So that's many one. Like I said, this is not going to waste. I'm going to make it. So I only use parchment paper for my oil-based cake. If it's butter-based I'm working with, I have other ways of ensuring my cake comes out clean and neatly. So that's for cut out the side. Let us start by nothing is going to waste. Everything is actually very useful. So for this, we'll be going with a little bit of vegetable oil. We'll just use that to brush to ensure that it sticks. You can actually use spray oil if you have, but if you don't have, you can just do this particular pattern. Just adding a little bit of oil in it, and that's it. So at this point, we have oven. So what I do is after cutting this, I just place it here. But before I do that, I think I need to clear some of this. The oil is kind of looking too much. So we'll be going in with some tissue. You just want to grease the pan so that when you are working, you know that the parchment paper are going to stick. Just a little bit of vegetable oil. Just use your brush to go inside of it. Pour it out. Use a tissue. The main aim is just to grease the pan so that your parchment paper would stick to it. It is not the oil that you are going to use to bring out your cake, but the oil will help the parchment paper to stick, thereby allowing it to come out freely. So I think we've prepped this. So remember we need for our vanilla. So we'll also be doing the same for the vanilla. For the size 6. Add a little bit of vegetable oil, then going in with your pan, your brush. The main aim is for it to be all greased. Then you add your parchment paper. This tip is a pro tip, trust me. To replace your spray, in case you don't have the spray oil, you can actually use this to work and to come out perfectly. So after we look at how it's all lined up, this is how your baking pan should look like, especially when you don't want to have issue with your cakes coming out. So we'll just set this aside. Repeat the same process for the remaining ones. So we worship you, oh my. You can comment where you're watching from. So this, like, I would advise you doing this a day before you're baking to save you time. And you see how many minutes we actually spend trying to prep the pan. So let's say, for instance, that your order now was to leave today or stuff. So you have to ensure you do this a day before, or before you start your baking.
Okay, okay, you don't see me today.
You can just do this.
This your father, I don't understand. No, you're
So sorry about the background noise. Like I said, we're in the bakery and so you can see how we did this. So when I said you don't throw any of the things, is because you can actually use it to, that sometimes when you cut out there'll be a little bit of space, so you can just use it to patch there and set this aside also. So we'll be doing this. We need two of this. So let's just try cutting out this one. So the oil inside of it will make the parchment paper stick to the pan easily. But if there was no oil, it would have been a lot of stress. For it to stick, it would have been a lot of stress. So I think we just need two pan of this, two pan of that.
Hello, baby.
Hi.
I'm sorry, my hand is messed
My hand is messed.
Why have you not been here?
I
I thought you said you're not going back to like 3 months.
I went to look for like hostel or weekend.
You got.
I've not gotten one.
So, me said this week night, you're still wrong again.
No, this week I still
The shawarma was the in 1 minute. I lost your number.
You collected it that day now.
I lost it night.
You know you're fasting now.
No.
Alright. Okay, so sorry about that. Like, we're expecting a lot of that actually. I'm in the stove. And I've not actually been around for like a while. But this is not sticking. This can actually be stressful when you're under pressure. Or when the oil is actually not enough. Basically, you're going on and off and off. But it's taking your time now, because when you actually want to take off the cake from the pan, it will be so stressless, like you won't even have to stress at all. But if you don't pass through this stage of getting the parchment paper accurately, it may affect you when you want to take off your cake. Like basically, the parchment paper might not even be coming off, or the cake might have gotten stuck to the pan. And like I said, oil-based cakes, they are very, very tricky. This is actually giving me stress. Let's go in with a little bit of butter. I don't know why it's not sticking. It's able to stick now. I'm having a big problem with the base. So this should do it. And unless I forget, you can actually use. You can also use butter. You can actually use butter, but it's actually very expensive. Like, butter is actually expensive, so why would I want to use butter for it? So I actually prefer using oil. It's just that butter works faster, though. Like, especially when you want to attach the other one to the other one. Like I said, you want to ensure you've done this a day before you're baking, so that you won't have to go through the stress. You just, if I had done this like probably yesterday, I would have just started baking already. See, my cake is almost getting cold. So at this point, I've done the pans. So it's for us to the remaining of this is going to be used for the real velvet. So we just have to pack this into this and we'll clear shut this. So the measuring is a 680. Set this aside. Measuring this also.
Let me see it. I don't know what these people are doing on that sun and on that rain.
What's that?
My mom is buying something here. What make me think? What can I help you do? Remember I told you on this, you know?
Nothing.
Why?
Are you a baker?
I'm not a baker, but I'm a cooker.
A cooker.
So, you know how you're like the same
Which one
process.
is a cooker?
Then just call it chef. You're a pastry chef.
I'm a what?
I'm a dish chef. You're a pastry chef.
I'm not a pastry chef.
Is it not pastry you're into? Baking?
I'm not into baking. I'm not into baking.
Don't you used to bake?
I'm not used to bake.
Amaka, do you have nylon?
What kind of nylon?
Big nylon.
What does cloth chip?
Don't use tomatoes. Big it.
Confirm. So you came here to stress me this morning.
I never want to have you.
Please don't tell me now. It's always our people like So for this, we'll be using butter.
I'm missing you. What can I do for you?
Oh.
What can I do for you?
But you know I'm live, Abby.
You know you're what?
I'm live. Everybody's hearing me. So you don't want to talk again?
Everybody in my voice. So what can I do?
I'm done. I don't need help.
You're not doing anything here again, apart from
Like how?
playing.
I'll actually resume though. But this place is not, you can't compare it with that other side.
Which other side? Your school side.
My school side can no, the other store there.
Okay, that place is live in it's a bus stop. Everybody is there.
That's why.
Just that we don't have strippers in that place.
Excuse me. You
No,
good?
no, no, it's strippers.
Wait.
But yeah, that's street.
And this corner is too, it's just inside.
So you want to move from here to there?
No, I'm not moving over. After my school, I'm sure I'm coming back to satellite, so no need moving.
So where are your students? Your students?
They graduated now.
Oh my god, no second students.
I'm going back to school next month, so
And this place will be closed again.
I don't know. It might not totally be closed. I might be coming back like
Weekend.
no. It depends on how the timetable is.
Oh, when are you graduating, sir?
Next year. So that's the only.
One thing that describes is that this place is always closed.
Mm.
Most times when people come,
Is it lie?
no, it's true. It's always closed. Like, I cannot be dragging you from school. That's how I do it. And then go back again.
The thing now is from if this section now is like final year, so basically it's more of project and beginning is always that intense, but once you've gotten to the middle here, I can be coming back. Like let's say, depending on how the time they fix the timetable, can be coming back like Fridays.
I know this place is usually closed.
But if it's snacks, that other side, that's what my auntie does. I already told you.
Not your auntie's room. You don't want your auntie.
It's the same thing.
How doesn't keep the spot?
It's the same thing.
It doesn't keep the spot.
Have you tried?
No, honestly, ever since you left, I don't eat all these things.
It's the same thing, like the same recipe she's using, so definitely. Yeah, my God.
And I'm using sachet to avoid steak. It's always there.
It's not always there, always there.
And again. I'll see you later.
Bye bye. So sorry about that. So we're baking shortly. So this is the vanilla, and I think this will be the maple. So to get your marble, basically, you just to add 2 or more flavors in a particular cake, in a particular cake pan. So you're just adding 2 or more flavors. Why I said 2 or more is that you can actually make different marble cakes. Different marble cake, actually. So let's preheat the oven. Okay, so we've gotten about 1 to 5 pans. So this is the vanilla, this is the marble. This is the marble. We're just adding a little bit of chocolate. So we'll be making the red velvet shortly. So the red velvet we're going to bake it twice because it has to go into a size 7 and I think okay, so first of all bake one, then turn it into the pan, then bake another, then turn it into the pan. So I'm preheating the oven now, so it's up to like 3 minutes, 5 minutes thereabouts. So I'll be checking the temperature and we'll be adding in our cake. Then we'll be coming back to continue the whole baking process. Today you are baking with me from start to finish. How baking usually goes like in the store. So it has to stay in the oven for about 30 to 35 minutes Then we'll check if it's almost ready. Then we'll know the one that will be ready, because chocolate usually takes time. So it's going to be at the bottom tier, then vanilla will be at the middle tier. So this is it. So we still have about a bit of vanilla. We're baking it in a size 6. We'll actually be making marble with it. Bake it, so not size 6, we'll bake it in a size 7. We'll make marble with it using our red velvet. So we'll make washing out pan that we use the bowl and the plate, and cleansing of the table. Okay, so we'll just clearing. Let me show you. Clearing the table. What happened? No. So for our red velvet, we'll be needing our baking powder, baking soda, we're needing our flavor. This is raw milk. We're using our vanilla, eggs. We need about 2 eggs, then vinegar. So before starting off any of the baking, it's advisable you bring out the ingredients you need so that you don't actually forget anything. I've seen situations whereby bakers tell you, they forgot to add egg to their mixture, they forget to add egg to their buttercream, they forget to add to their cake, they forgot to add this, they forgot to add that. So those things, to avoid those mistakes, you just have to ensure that everything is being brought out and they are on your table, so as you're working, you don't forget anything. Like, you don't forget to add baking soda, you don't forget to add baking powder, because it's all laid out. Bringing in our, so we need 1 cup. One cup and our bowls. So let's try to clear. The behind the scene is actually not looking cute. I have to wash those. Then we'll get to baking. So this is the glove. I think I need to use a new one. So you have to ensure. So the cake is inside baking now. Right, it's baking. We're working with the red velvet. Okay, so we're back. We're back. So we're making red velvet shortly. Then after this red velvet, we're making our fondant. So like I said, today we're doing everything together. So let me try connecting the power bank. Okay, so we are back. So we already prepped what we'll be using. So let's begin. Okay. Wow, they restored the power. Trying to fix. Okay, so we're trying to bake red velvet. So we added our flour first thing. Then we'll be adding in sugar and the rest. So we've added in our flour. Now the baking soda, baking powder. If you have any question, you can ask. If you also need the recipe, like the measurements, you can also ask. And you can also check out my channel. I have some recipes that will actually help you grow as a baker. Like I said initially, you don't necessarily need to be a baker to know how to bake. You can bake as a hobby. You can bake just for your kids and family and friends. So there's no So first of all, start out with the dry ingredients. Then in a separate bowl, we're mixing our wet ingredients. In this recipe, we will not be using milk. So it's actually cost efficient in the sense that you don't necessarily need milk. It's not a must, but we're replacing the milk with water. We're replacing the milk with water. So we're starting off with about 2 cups of water. It's not hot water, it's not cold water. Lukewarm water, your normal room temperature water. That's what we'll be using. After this, we'll be making our fondant. Or we'll first of all make our buttercream. Then we'll be going making our fondant. So that's our vegetable oil. I don't know if you can see. Okay. Yeah. Adding in our eggs. set that aside. Then mm, so our vanilla flavor, dark vanilla flavor. Then this is our raw milk. Lastly will be the vinegar. This recipe is super easy. So easy to make. Like even without the use of electricity, hand mixer or any appliances, all you need is your hand mix, you are good to go. And with that we are done. The last stage is for you to just sit down. Started baking at around 10 and we've made our vanilla, we've made our chocolate, then in the oven. Now we're making our red velvet and it's just past 11. So see that. And if I was not recording or if I was not live, I would have been a lot faster because I would not have to be talking and I would just walk straight. But because I'm live, I have to be telling you guys how it's going. So the thing is, many bakers struggle. Not only so, a lot of people knows how to bake, but a lot of people don't know how to market that they are bakers. Like these are issues common with are issues common with upcoming bakers that not even upcoming bakers. You find out that even those that have been baking for years, they still have that same issue. So how do you market? Where do you market? Who do you market to? Who are the people that need your services? The thing is, when it comes to cake and treats, okay, let's just focus on cakes now. A lot of people are having occasions that requires cake. Even as we are talking now, in your house, in your family, there's somebody somewhere that his or her birthday is coming up, and the person will be saying, I need cake, or wedding is coming up, or an event that requires celebration, graduation, anniversary, introduction, meet and greet, something that has to do with celebration that needs cake. Even in your family meeting, let's say the meeting you people have annually, that somebody wants to just do and get to know the family, so people need cake. So basically every day somebody somewhere need the cake. It's now for you to know who need the cake and how will they patronize you. Do not forget that you see this baking industry, a lot of people are bakers. Like a lot. When I say a lot, I mean a lot, and I'm not even exaggerating. The last beginners class I did, there were up to like 10 girls, and every day I'm like, people want to learn how to bake every day. People want to enhance their skills. As it may even be currently, your customer that even take like place orders from you might be somewhere thinking on how to learn how to bake, so that she can easily be making them for her kids and all of that. So how do you now get customers to buy from you? One, you need to learn how to carry your business on your head. Nobody is going to help you to advertise. In fact, a lot of people, if they see the opportunity, they don't even want you to even, that little that you are saying, that they are even saying, it's not up to, it's not this, it's not that. Some people, if they can have a way of taking that from you, they will be happy. So how do you do that? Be able to get your customers to really buy from you. One, learn how to post. When I say post, like, you don't just post anyhow kind of posting. Your content should be eye-catching. Eye-catching in the sense that when someone that doesn't even know you, when they see your product, should do the talking. You don't necessarily need to come and start telling people that you know how to bake. No, your product should be the one to talk for you. Before you even mention that your cake are moist, your product should do the talking. So you have to pay attention to your, you have to really pay attention to your cakes, especially when you are snapping. Your cake might be really moist and nice, but people would not know that if anytime you bake your cake is not even giving that feeling it should give. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. Like, you bake your red velvet cake now, and when you snap it, it's looking all dry, it's looking like it needs help. If you try to tell me to come and buy, I will definitely not buy. But there are some, haven't you wonder why sometimes when you see some products, you just feel like ordering from that particular person? Even as bakers too, sometimes when you see some products, some people's products online, you want to order, you want to place order from that person because the cake is looking really, really nice, that you feel, let me try to see how this cake actually tastes like. You understand what I'm saying? So these are things that a lot of people will not tell you. A lot of bakers will not tell you. Focus on your content. Your content is key. Your content is key to that customer's heart. Your content is key. Because if that customer sees that, wow, this cake is nice, that's when they'll start asking you, how much is this particular cake? Your design too needs to be really nice. I know that is not actually important, because sometimes most customer comes with their own preferred design. But when they do, ensure you deliver. Ensure you deliver, like you deliver that cake perfectly, that people would like want to even know who made this cake. That's number one thing, to ensure you have customers. And any cake you do, try videoing the process. You can show a little bit of your behind the scenes. You don't necessarily need a digital camera. You can use your phone. Like right now, I'm using my phone to document all of this, and I'm going to like make it a live video after the whole live section. Like, the title will be A Day Baking with Amy. You understand? So people get to see how it looks like in my bakery, how we bake the cakes and all of that. So that's what is going to be the caption. Don't allow anybody discourage you. Don't allow anybody tell you you cannot do it, or what you are doing is not necessary. The thing is, start it. And when you start it, you will see that it's actually very easy. Like, basically, it's actually very easy. And the thing is, watching the way you walk, I might be led to want to place order from you. I don't know how it works, but I think it's psychology. Like, me just watching how you frost your cake, I might be like, let me order from this person. Does it mean that I don't have people I order cake from? No. Does it mean that you are the best at whatever? I don't know. I have no idea. But because of how I watched the way you did the whole baking process, and I'm here to like, I want to order from this person. And you see me, I'll be coming out to like tell you, I want to place an order. Out of the blues, I'll just tell you, I want to order your cakes. And some will be like, this same cake, I've been posting it. And one thing about people is that, especially bakers, they don't take out their time to snap their products. The next thing you see is that they're complaining that nobody is buying from them. You want to snap your cake. Don't you see that a lot of people take out time to snap, take out time to video? Like, they're taking out their time. It's not because they don't have other things to do, but because they know all it takes is just a particular post and somebody is interested. Somebody wants to order from you. Somebody wants to buy from you. Just one single post that you took out your time to make. And you see somebody there saying, we want to order from you, we want to buy from you. Just a single post. And trust me, you will not even regret it. So for this cake, we actually used this is an oil-based red velvet cake. So I like baking in layers so that my cake will come out really clean. Aside from that, it won't take long in the oven. And that way, I'm rest assured that it will come out without getting burnt. Like, it's not going to take too long, so I know my cake will not dry out in the oven. You know, when your cake stays too long in the oven, it might start getting dry. Like, because you want it to be fully baked. The cake now does not understand that you like, the oven does not understand that the reason why the cake is still in the oven is because you want it to be fully baked. The oven will be thinking, the cake is not even yet ready. The oven will just be lighting and baking and stuff. So that way, if you are not careful, you might have a cake that is so dried and burnt at the same time. So we split the red velvet batter into two. Give it a tap so that it gets rid of air bubbles. We're baking this a size 7, like I said. So that will be 5 layers of cake. So like, we started off with our vanilla. We've done our chocolate. Now this is the red velvet, and we are done. And I have to go check the oven to see how well the remaining batch of the cake has baked. So I'll be coming back in a minute. So we can actually go ahead to add this to um, okay, so I'm trying to, I don't know if um so I'll be asking it, we'll be doing a poll. Okay, so like I said, this will be going into the size 7. This is the vanilla cake. So it will be going into a size 7. This is like 7. So how I butter my pan for my butter based cake is like this. Adding a bit of butter, and I had butter over there. This is too much. Just a bit, then you go over it with your hand or a brush. Anyone you can lay your hand on is actually fine. Then you just use a little bit of flour to reduce the butter. A little bit of flour, just very tiny, so that it would reduce dust it off. Left over of the vanilla, just be pouring it in. This will serve as the base for our cake. So we're done with baking. Very good to God. So it's for us to clear, and we'll be proceeding to making our buttercream. So for the buttercream, we'll be starting off with we're making the first butter for filling and crumb coating. Then the other butter will be for frosting. And after the buttercream, we'll be making our fondant. So hopefully by then some of the cakes in the oven would have been ready. So we'll just be cooling it off, clean filming it, and putting it in the fridge for it to cool against tomorrow, which is the main day we'll be using the cake. So we'll do something like this again tomorrow from as early as 7-8 a.m. in the morning. We'll be here to cover the cakes. So basically you will see the process. We won't be ending or cutting or editing anything, live process on how we'll be covering the cake. So let's just continue with what we're doing. So we're almost, the first aspect is the baking aspect, which by the grace of God we are done with. This is the last pan. So just be washing off some of the things we use. Then coming back to make buttercream. Okay. So there was a poll asking if you know you're interested in baking, just click yes or click no. So if you're interested in baking, click yes or no. And nobody has done that. It seems as though we are not interested at all to give our response, or please and please. I don't know if it's for my own end, but I am actually seeing 0 votes, like 0% in both categories. So if you're interested in baking, click yes, click no. So I would know if I should be sharing my recipe with you guys and know that I am talking to the right audience and my efforts are not being wasted. It's actually discouraging when you are trying to impact, maybe you're giving out and there's no feedback. It's actually very, 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 very much discouraging. So please and please, if you are interested, it's not going to take your time. There's no harm in saying no, actually. At the same time, it's your own advantage when you say yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Trying to clear the space. We're just done baking. For the baking section, we'll be moving to the buttercream making shortly. Is it just me, or when it comes to people interacting on YouTube, it's usually very, very hard? Like, basically, it's so hard before someone would interact with you on YouTube. It actually takes the grace of God. Or probably when they are really, really, really benefiting, or maybe they are confused about a thing, that's the only time you see them interacting. And it's so sad. Because it actually makes no sense. Truth be told. making our buttercream now. We're using the mixer for that. So the way I like to bake is as I'm working, I'm washing off my maybe the bowl I used or the pan and everything that I use, because I'm not the type that I don't like when I see dishes lying down there. Heaped. It scares me a lot. So as I bake, I wash off. That's why you see that I'm going and I'm coming back, because I have to go do the dishes, then come back, mob it off, come back, continue baking. So sorry. So that's how we roll. So for the buttercream, we need butter, and I'll be using margarine for this. Okay, with 500 grams. This product of margarine So we need 500 grams of margarine. I think I've shared this recipe before on my page. So do check it out. Then icing sugar. That's basically it. We're using our mixer. We'll be right back.